We'll see CDEC into a Viper, so kind of the same idea as a DK in the sense that in the mid game he's a very tanky presence in the fights, difficult to bring down, but with a little more punch in the laning stage here for them.
Yeah, so last pick for CDEC, going to be looking for that aggressive safe lane farmer, which is going to be something which looks to get involved, fight a lot early, try and take advantage of those mid-game fights where they have track, they can rack up a lot of money, and then look to kind of transition well into the late game through that advantage. And that's where they're almost always picking carry heroes that can get involved early. It used to be a lot of Juggernaut play. Juggernaut hero, which is still a possibility here for their last pick. The PL came out, although it worked too well for them. That was the game they lost in their opening series, but something which they might look to consider here. I think they want something which maybe matches up a bit better against the Gyrocopter, and that's where PL is kind of 50-50.
Yeah, it is probably the biggest aggressive hero as far as recent play that's still available, but like you said, not the best matchup against Gyro. They have tons of other AoE, and if the PL gets farmed enough, of course could be a problem, but through the mid game they'll certainly have solutions. So a hero that Aggressive used to just wreck on in the previous patch. I remember a game where he almost single-handedly, in fact I think he did, just dominated LGD with his Juggernaut, but the days of 6.83 are gone now. The hero's not quite as versatile, generally not played as much as a true one-position carry, and it does feel like CDEC need a pretty beefy one position at this point. Everyone else more utility, lockdown, mid-game. If they want this to go late, they're going to need someone who can really shoulder the load.
The other thing they kind of need is a carry that has some laning presence, because Spirit Breaker, a great pickup. Lion's not really good at zoning out here. You've got kind of bad base damage. I mean, he got that base damage buff some time ago, but even with that, Spirit Breaker with a Stout Shield will just man up, trade hits with the Lion. If you get that bash, suddenly you're looking at maybe Lion being put on the back foot. So they really need a safe lane carry with some zoning and kill potential.
Do you see any chance the Viper goes safe lane to deal with him and then you put someone else mid, or is that kind of off the table already?
It's possible. It doesn't... Viper to me is not really an aggressive style of hero. He wants something maybe a bit more mobile with more kill potential. So I think it works, but it may just be putting CDEC too much outside of their normal kind of play style as far as their hero player role assignments.
What else could it be? All right, well, it is the TA, so there looks like the Viper for Aggressive will go into a side lane, most likely. I pretty much never see a TA who doesn't go mid. Hero that can do really well against Storm, and we saw a great TA performance earlier today. Deso is a lot cheaper now. We were talking about some of the other buffs as well while we were watching the games. The Blade Dagger is a lot better on the hero, since until your refraction is broken, you can always use the blink. It doesn't get deactivated instantly anymore. The hero has gotten some buffs. It also opens up Roshan potential. Pretty good tower sieger if she gets enough farm. So this gives CDEC an ability to take objectives like that, which frankly they didn't really have before this pick.
Yeah, this mid lane's going to be really interesting, because you've not just... Because it's not really a 1v1 matchup. This is going to be
like a 3v3 maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be at least a 2v2 with the Earthshaker and Bounty Hunter mostly dedicated to that mid lane, and then we'll probably see maybe an occasional support rotation coming out. Not even necessarily a support rotation. You can see a Spirit Breaker charge on the mid lane at some point from March. March is going to be keeping a close eye, and more likely we see him rotate off the off lane rather than Nuts rotate from the safe lane, because Witch Doctor Gyrocopter, that's going to be a rough lane for Clockwork. The good thing with Clockwork is you can use that little cogs trick. You're guaranteed to at least get level 2 from the lane.
But he can't get aggressive. Against the Gyro, oh, you cogged me? Great. Eat a rocket barrage to the face, and suddenly you're the one who's dead. So it will be all about just getting experience on that off lane.
Yeah, so I think both teams pulling out strong, solid drafts here, kind of picking to their strengths, and neither team really coming out necessarily on top from these picks that I'm seeing here. So it's going to be all come down to the playstyle and the execution, especially in the early game.
I guess looking at the stylistic differences between the draft, while neither one is necessarily stronger or weaker, it does feel like MVP have a much stronger team fight backbone. They've got a lot of AoE from the Gyrocopter, good control from the Earthshaker as well. Even their other cores have at least a disable of some kind, the Charge and Nether Strike potentially batched from Spirit Breaker. You've got Storm Initiate and Witch Doctor with a big team fight ult. Look at CDEC, it feels a little more like that kind of let's spread the map, face rush, find these pickoffs with the Bounty Hunter, get some track gold, but in a true 5v5, until they get big items on the TA, the Viper, they're going to struggle a bit more there in the mid game.
Yeah. Something where I think MVP are going to have to go back to what they did in their opening series with KP on the Gyrocopter is he needs to be flexible. He needs to be TPing to these early engagements, which he did incredibly well in their opening game, which they won on the back of some great TP rotations. but it's very different to what he'd pulled out in Game 3, where he was playing the Nagasar and was playing much more passive farming role. So he's going to be a kind of key component for them moving forward here in this opening game.
Well, let's get things underway here. We've already got CDEC making their move into the MVP jungle with Garter on a bit of a scouting mission. He saw 2-3 heroes, starts to play very carefully. If you walk into a sentry in that position, you're giving up first blood. So he calls it out to the team. As a result, CDEC, they get the high ground on the Radiant side of the river, so they're going to have good control of the top rune. Not sure if they'll be able to snag this bottom one. If he goes for it, very high chance that he ends up giving up that flood. So did drop down a sentry as well as an observer in the Radiant jungle. No wards placed in the Dire. Could slow down a lot of these heroes as far as getting their levels, gods. We'll have to see if MVP are able to deward. They've got 1 sentry on March. Do they have any other forms of detection? Oh, they've actually got 3 sentries at least still available here. I don't think they placed a single one, so that's 4.
So something we didn't even talk about as a possibility is this is going to be an offensive tri-lane / dual lane coming out from MVP. I think recognizing that Bounty Hunter is going to be spending a lot of time helping out mid lane, they said, we can win this top lane. We can shut down the farm of the CDEC carry, but CDEC themselves are going to mix up their lanes. It looks like Lion's headed down bottom. Complete lane swap coming from CDEC, as even Viper makes a long journey south from the top lane as well.
Yeah, this is, even if you kill the Spirit Breaker, it's not the biggest deal. And, well, in this particular matchup, it doesn't look like they'll be getting any early kills on him. So they protect the Gyro. They get a little more offensive potential where CDEC looks a bit weaker in the laning stage. And it's also just a good dodge. It denies a lot of what the Bounty Hunter wants to do. Find those early kills in the laning stage, disrupt the pulls, but with the camps blocked, those wards may end up being wasted a bit. You do see a Radiant Sentry here. It will now be revealed as QO gives Garter the right click. He can deward this one, but they've got plenty in the bank, and he will quickly take care of it.
Immediate tango on that. So this is going to be a constant battle of sentry domination in the mid lane. It's still useful information to know where exactly that Bounty Hunter is. You know when it's safe to bring out the courier, so he doesn't even have to micro the courier or have a hero bring out items. And, well, there's the counter D-ward on mid lane. So
they started with 4. And maybe this is the game plan versus a Bounty Hunter pick, is just get an extra pair of sentries. You ensure that he's never going to have the vision advantage. And if you need to even deward a camp, that's still a possibility, though not going to be necessary with the Spirit Breaker. Now in a 1v3, I don't know if you can even dive this guy, gods. They're going to try for it, though. Garter moving in. He gets off the Janata slow. Now the follow-up stun from the Lion. Aggressive, starting to get very aggro here as he moves behind the tower. Q giving March a bit more right-click damage, but they just don't have it. That's a Spirit Breaker. The hardest hero to kill at this stage of the game, bar none.
That was great play from March, too. He didn't want to charge away. March likes experience. He wants to stay down there just leeching XP as much as possible. And with a big creep wave at his tower, he's thinking, like, I can charge away, but only if I'm going to die. So he stayed there. He's hit level 3, and if he charged away, he would have missed out on a full level of experience.
We're going to see now a roaming party as they move towards the bottom rune. It will be an invis. Q is level 2. Maybe with these two together, they can make a play on mid, and slowing down that storm, definitely important, but with Febby in position, very good chance QO can get away here. Maybe they even get a counter kill if someone gets trapped under the tower. Garter is just waiting to pounce. He's got support inbound, and now they look to make their move. They've got to initiate with Q. They probably know there's a shaker here. Makes them a little hesitant to go in. Febby just tiny back. Now they've got eyes on him. It looks like the pings come out. The sentry for the Radiant actually spotting Q. So they know this is coming. And if they dive, if there are any Radiant TPs, this is quickly going to go south for CDEC.
Yeah, no TPs on either of the top 2 heroes, but
and they make their move, starting with the stun. Now the follow-up hex. Do they go in Q? No, they're going to back off. QO able to survive for now. Instead, they turn on Febby. An unsuccessful rotation. And meanwhile, Spirit Breaker charging in. They're making the move here. Coming in from the south. He gets stunned, interrupted. Might still be able to auto-attack Q down. Looking for the body block. Fissure, cooling down. He's got it soon. He needs the mana. Maybe they don't even auto-attacking. And it looks like it will be a first blood going to MVP. CDEC's early movements getting completely predicted, spotted, and shut down. MVP are just one step ahead of them, gods. They showed how good the Bounty Hunter can be, and now they're showing they know how to deal with it early, too.
It's just scary when you're versing MVP because there is no way to shut down QO. You have an Earthshaker camping mid and a Spirit Breaker who's going to charge in whenever he's needed there. And that's exactly where this Spirit Breaker pick works out so nicely for MVP. They're securing the game for QO every single time. They don't really put that much emphasis on getting KP farm, but teams still try to shut down QO. Game after game, I'm watching these teams like, okay, let's just try and win the mid lane. Doesn't work. MVP put so many resources there, and I think teams just need to start accepting the fact that you can't stop Kyo from getting far mid lane.
It's kind of scary this game as well if he doesn't get shut down, because all they have to deal with him is what looks to be a 5-position Lion. Maybe he ends up getting a little more farm than Bounty, but he's not getting farm priority. Clockwork doesn't really deal with Storm. Viper most certainly does not. And TA, barring a lucky haste turn, is never going to be able to lock him down on her own. So if he has a good start, it's a very good game for Storm to snowball. It is worth mentioning, we haven't talked too much about farm, but there is a nice early creep advantage here for CDEC overall, as they're getting a little more farm on their cores. The main hero who's not is the Spirit Breaker, but again, he's involved in the First Blood, and he's getting his levels. Already 4. I think they're happy with the trade, and with the First Blood, it makes it what must be a very close to dead even game.
Yeah, and they're not killing Kyo, but yeah, they are winning the CS battle there. And now Garda going to come in, not detected by a Sentry Ward. It's actually expired, but...
Oh, Shaker's not home, but he's going to die! Kyo with the solo kill. 1v2. It didn't even have the backup. That auto attack from the creep getting the final last hit. That is not what you're looking for out of your early bounty hunter roam.
Okay, Kyo is not behind. I mean, he's like, I haven't got enough. I haven't got the same amount of CS as the TA, but I've got 2 kills now, including a First Blood. So he's actually doing just fine.
As you can see here, Kyo very often getting First Bloods for this team, and just anecdotally, having watched this guy dominate with his Ember Spirit, especially back when the hero was a bit stronger, he can single-handedly carry the team. So it's got to be a concern for CDEC. And it's not like they're farming cores that can just take over the game. The Viper, more of a hero that supports what the team wants to do as a whole, can't really walk around the map finding solo kills. He is farming very well here bottom, but it's hard to see him having the kind of impact that someone like a Storm can with a nice start.
Yeah, and there's a lot of experience across the board on MVP. Like March hitting a fast level 6 as a Spirit Breaker is going to be able to get a lot done. He just suddenly has... That's where it doesn't matter if he doesn't have a lot of CS. The Spirit Breaker, once he gets 6, his kill potential skyrockets, and CDEC are going to have to be very careful. They just don't really have that same threat. Clockwork does have a lot of kill potential when he hits level 6, but it's just across the board. You've got a Storm Spirit with Ball Lightning, you've got Gyrocopter. MVP's got the much more kind of volatile, high damage output mid-game compared to CDEC, who have to play very defensive.
Squishy, bursty, they can snowball ahead, and they can also very easily lose one big team fight and just get run over in the mid-game. And it does feel like that's where MVP is most comfortable, when they get to fight as a team in the mid-game, rather than just going off on their own, trying to find solo picks. Short Kyo is going to look to do that on the Storm, but this team really knows how to fight as 5 nicely. So the game will slow down a little bit now. The lanes have been juggled back and forth. Seems like everybody's pretty much getting their levels on the Radiant side, as the Earthshaker a bit behind, but that's to be expected. And the Lion, to me, the big playmaker for CDEC. Q only level 3 right now, but as you head towards the mid-game, this is the hero that has to get a blink, needs ideally at least the basic boots, if not tranquils, and without that, you're just not going to shut down a Storm.
Yeah, it's hard for CDEC here. They're going to spot out that KP has a TP on Gyrocopter, so if you go on any heroes in mid or bottom lane near a tower, he's TPing in and joining these fights, and with a cooldown and level 3 Rocket Barrage, soon to be level 7, max out that Rocket Barrage, this is a Gyrocopter who'll quickly get a lot of kills and get a lot done for his team. So I think,
and he's already moving. He's heading bottom now. They may even go for a kill here. They've got the level 6 on Spirit Breaker, and anyone who's caught is in a lot of trouble. Another strike coming through to start it off a little bit early. He took the gun, but they're going to go anyway. Call down. May get 2, may get nothing. It does clip both once. Not the second time. They'll isolate Q. They will bring him down, but the 2 hero stun comes through. He survives. QO cuts him off at the pass. But that's a Gyrocopter TP just to kill a support. Pretty big investment, and it may open Nuts up to a counterplay here as they move in. XC, though, out of mana. He can't do anything on that Clockwork.
Yeah, I looked like March went a little bit too early before the Gyrocopter was there with the cooldown, unfortunately, but good idea. Like, as soon as Spirit Breaker hit level 6, they TP in the Gyrocopter, and that's a 2-hero combo that can kill anyone in the game. They just didn't quite execute it correctly, but they still got a kill out of it. It doesn't really hurt the Gyrocopter that much because he can still farm in the bottom lane. Yeah, it means Spirit Breaker has to kind of go somewhere else, but Spirit Breaker, a hero who's not going to need a lot of farm this game. He wants to get involved, get kills for his team.
You know, we saw in the previous series versus Archon that they're very quick to move the Gyrocopter around. KP just, the second there's a dive, he TPs in, he drops the call down, no hesitation. And now we're seeing the other side of the coin. This is one of the big reasons why teams are just loving Gyro, and he's often even banned first phases. Once he hits 6, he does so much. Even before it, he brings a lot to the early game engagements.
This is a hero that's going to keep looking to get active. He's already picked up another TP scroll, so he's going to be anywhere there's fights going on, he wants to be. If anything, it's the Storm who's going to be less active on the map going for kills. They may look to bring the Spirit Breaker and the Gyrocopter to the Storm for fights, but...
Oh, they had a hook, but he hooks the Rage Creep. XZ, not not the start he was hoping for, and there's really no way to stop a charge out. In fact, March has other plans. He charges in, gets the initial stun. He doesn't have mana for the nether stick. He's trapped himself in the trees. That's unfortunate, but QO arrives. Cooldown coming through. The fissures there as well. Xe just on the boundary of the cooldown. Won't get hit by it, but Aggressive will take a pounding. Cheeky tries to run in. Quickly realizes that's not happening. Now on the retreat, another charge from March. He gets Cog back, but he keeps on running in regardless. KP's there to clean up the refraction charge. Does Shiki even have a point in meld yet? He does. He may need to use it here to survive. Refraction still cooling down. Rocket Barrage, there's the meld, but now he's trapped. A big ball from Storm. QO ends him, and now it's 5-1 MVP. They are really coming out of the gate swinging here in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, this MVP showing they can play amazingly well with the Bounty Hunter and against it. This Bounty has gotten nothing done, despite it being one of Garda's most played heroes. They just shut him down. They had the Sentry Ward control in the mid lane. The way they laned it with Spirit Breaker in the safe lane, who was somewhat unkillable, and I think having the Bounty Hunter with a kind of weakish support in the form of Lion is the main problem here. Lion doesn't really have enough aggression and kill potential until he hits level 6, and you can really see here with the Viper and TA as your 2 carries, nowhere for the Bounty Hunter to really actually make plays happen, to go for those kills. On the MVP side, contrarily, you have a Gyrocopter who's got tons of kill potential, a Storm, a Spirit Breaker. It's complete polar opposite story, and that's where things are looking really good for MVP right now.
Yeah, double damage is up on QO, and he TPs towards top. There's no lane ward here. It is daytime. Garter could quickly be dealt with. There's the charge. A full ball in. There you go. Now he comes in. He'll take the last hit. Thank you very much, March. I'll collect that kill. And, well, gods, fast Bloodstone appears to be in the works here for QO, despite what's supposed to be a slightly more difficult matchup early with the Bounty Hunter pressure, even the Lion roaming into the lane, and the TA with a lot of last hitting potential. He's the most farmed hero. He got the first blood. That's his 3rd kill of the game, I do believe. Or maybe it's even his 4th. Oh, no, he's got 5 kills. He's been collecting all the last hits. And he can just go back to farming if he wants. The Gyrocopter can really be the backbone of the team fights. And I don't see CDEC fighting into 4 of MVP's heroes, let alone the full 5-man squad.
Yeah. Now, something to remember, LD, this is familiar territory for CDEC. They've started all 3 of their games from behind.
They're normally good in the laning stage against the Chinese teams, but you're right, they've been playing from behind a lot today, and still they moved on against Vega, who coming into the qualifiers, the wild card, were looked at potential favorites to even finish 2nd, if not 1st place. As we move along now, we'll see rotation by Shiki towards the bottom rune, getting ready for the 12-minute spawn. And they do have track now. That's the other big thing. If there's an overextension by MVP, CDEC could collect a lot of additional gold here and swing the game back, but fighting in these larger scale engagements is just not really what they're looking for.
Yeah, they want to find pickoffs and then just get back. Use the clockwork, hookshot, track, find a pickoff, and get out. Because a team fight against Gyrocopter, Spirit Breaker is just not going to look pretty for them right now. You've got all the ultimates coming to play. Nuts has hit level 7 on Witch Doctor, so even a level 4 paralyzing cast is going to dominate anytime CDEC are grouped up too much.
Garter will find Nuts here at the bottom side of the map, quickly charge, and then the Death Ward coming out. They're going to go for this one. He survives for now. The Maledict will take him low, ball in. QO looking for his 6th kill of the game. Oh, March takes it, but QO able to be involved in that one. Still the leader in net worth, despite getting heavily out-CS'd in the laning stage by the Templar Assassin on the side of CDEC.
It's just QO.
And he's catching up now.
This is QO. He doesn't need a last hit. He's 4th as far as last hit goes. Yeah, this is a player who will go for kills over farm a lot of the time, but we're seeing here Bloodstone quickly approaching, and that's going to be a problem. If he keeps getting kills once he finds that Bloodstone starts racking up charges, it's not going to look good for CDEC, and that's where they really have to find a way to slow down MVP. For now, it's kind of like, okay, we're still farming okay. We're actually not that far behind. The team worth difference is not actually that much, so CDEC is still in an okay position right now. They're not finding kills, but they're still farming all their cores. No one's really that far behind. The bounty has achieved nothing, but the cores are still looking good.
Here comes the charge, up just on the creeps. March gonna prevent the push for now. So what is CDEC waiting for here? I guess the big item is going to be Aggressive's mech, which is in the works. He's got 2 of the components, doesn't have the recipe just yet. Bit on the slower side for Mech, considering he got close to free farm in the late stage, but didn't really find any kills early. But once he gets that, that's where maybe CDEC can look to start actually contesting MVP head-on in a larger clash.
Yeah, I think TA looking to rush a Blink Dagger perhaps has saved up close to enough money for it.
Oh, XC, it looked like he had an amazing hook on 2 supports, but instead he gets charged. Then the Nether Strike attempted, double damage and getting stolen by the Lion. Nice retreat. The cooldown doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. First kill of the fight is against the Earthshaker, got caught a bit out of position, but the clock's the trade. This actually looks pretty decent for CDEC here. They go in with the finger. A second kill coming out. QO's going to have to retreat. They charge the Spirit Breaker away. Even the Witch Doctor ends up falling. It's 3 heroes down. It looked bad at first. They missed the hook. The Spirit Breaker looks like he's going to get a jump to start the fight, but great play there by the Lion. Finds the quick hex, disables the Nether Strike, then stuns him, steals the double damage turn on the north side of the fight, and from there, CDEC able to find a good one. Now the mech's going to come out. The push begins, and with the Templar Assassin, you might look at an early Roche if they're able to grab that tier 1 bottom soon.
Yeah, and that was without the Viper mech too. I think the Viper and the TA were just in a really strong position to be fighting, not even without the key item in the mech, just because of the levels they've got. You've got TA who can dish out a ton of damage just based on levels. You've got max refraction, max meld, just great damage output. Viper as well, similar story, just having level 9 and having that Treads, Aquila, Buckler, 1, whatever it may be. This is a hero who, if you're not killing quickly, will dish out damage over the course of a fight, and MVP just didn't find that quick pick off apart from a Clockwork who ended up just being, it was great that he soaked up so many of the spells.
QO does have 15 stick charges here. Should be pretty difficult to bring down, but gods, that is a straight Deso Rush. No Blink Dagger for our Templar Assassin here. And with this, Shiki can look for a very early Roche. He is also going to be very scary if they don't focus him first in the fights. They ball in, now they're going to initiate, but it's on aggressive. Actually charging past on the Shiki, the Fissure comes through, connects on 2, and now the call down as well. Aggressive, brought down off the bat. The TA unable to find openings, driven back by the Death Ward, but there's the hook. Isolates to a follow-up stun. Very nicely done by QO. He'll bring down Febby. They look for a bit more. The Templar Assassin did fall, though. That's the big damage deal you have to counter first, and they take her down. And with that, it's going to be a route the other direction, despite the huge item pickup. Unable to get it involved. 3 for 1 the trade. MVP bouncing right back.
Yeah, the difference this fight compared to the last one is that Gyrocopter was just in a much better position to dish out a lot of damage, constant rocket barrages. Last fight he got kind of isolated alone, brought down by the TA as well as the Bounty Hunter who got a nice Janata slow with the Shuriken. This time around KP was ignored.
Oh, they're going to fight this though, gods. They're coming in from the rear. XE battery assault to start. He cogs nuts in and then he pushes March back. Can they find 2? It's up to Q to make it happen. KP on the run. Into the trees goes March, but he can TP out from here and they'll let him go. Didn't quite have the vision they needed there, so ends up being a 3 for 2 overall. Not too shabby in the end for MVP.
Yeah, these fights are going to be very volatile because of the nature of the build of the TA. You've got a Deatho TA, you've got a Gyrocopter who's going for an SMY, which I think is a good item choice, but it just means that both Gyro and TA can be focused down and brought down quickly. Similar story with Aggressive. That last fight, yeah, he's got a mech and 17 charges, but you throw everything at him, he will die. And if you can get that quick pick off to start a fight off, you're going to be looking good.
Oh, they're going to fight this. There's the call down. Hits on 2. Now XC wants to run. Mech coming through. March with the big charge again. Fights 2 with it. The Fissure's there as well. And now the Death Ward comes out. That's 2 quick picks, and they look for more. They've got eyes on Garter. Then the Storm balls in. QO going deep. Another Sentry to play. Can they finish him? Yes, sir. You betcha. As the Echo Slam from Febby seals his fate. 3 for nothing, and this really seems to be the emerging story for MVP. If you want to fight them, if you want to dive their towers or force objectives, they're not just going to bring 2 heroes. They're going to bring the whole kit and caboodle, 5 every fight, and give up absolutely no quarter.
Yeah, and they do what they have to. They make sure they bring down the Viper to start a fight, and they don't want to bring him down slowly, because that's where, during that time, TA can dish out a lot of damage. Bounty Hunter can get a lot of tracks off Shurikens. Clockwork can cause problems, so they make sure they kill the Viper and kill the Viper quick, which is not easy when you've got max corrosive, a mech. Again, he doesn't actually use his 17-1 charges, but I don't even think that's the issue here. Even if he'd popped that, he was still dying quickly because they use the Death Ward, call down, rocket barrage, everything they can. They throw it at the Viper, and the nature of the MVP picks is they've got constantly active heroes and spells. Rocket barrage, it's got that tiny cooldown.
QO and Viz scouting out CDEC's movements. They're going to see Q on the high ground. He doesn't know there's a Bounty Hunter here as well, but he does sure as hell see that Lion. He's going to play it safe and back off. Already, Bloodstone has been completed. Another 350 gold. Now the Sanj and Yasha coming out. You know, it feels like the big thing this game is, first of all, MVP are always bringing 5 to every single damn fight, and secondly, they're getting the initiations off. Aside from the one fight mid where the Earthshaker got caught out and died, every other fight's been a 2-3 hero charge, 2-3 hero follow-up fissure from the Earthshaker, then the cooldown comes in, and you just can't fight anymore if you're CDEC.
And it's a hard game for Lion to cancel those charges, because if he's in a position to cancel at the front lines, it means he's out of position.
And then
he's
Storm
die.
jumps him.
Yeah, so I don't actually think it's as easy as, oh, just Lion needs to be at the front using Impale or a Hex. It's really hard because the way the positioning works is what we're seeing now here in mid lane. Viper's out in front, and Lion has to be sitting pretty far behind the Viper. If he's anywhere near the Viper to cancel the charge, he's getting picked off. Storm just says, okay, Fissure, I'll ball in, dead Lion, and now you've got no control, no stuns whatsoever in a team fight. So it's actually not really possible for Q to cancel a charge in a team fight.
I feel if you're CDEC, you really wanted that early Roche. Seems like one of the biggest benefits to the fast death, but with the tier 1 still at bottom and always a 5v5 clash, there's been no downtime to go for it. And now the pressure comes on mid. As CDEC smokes, they head up from the southern side of the river, looking for a leap in. It's got to be the Clockwork who starts this fight. Will he find the good hook to begin an XC? Throwing out the rocket, he hooks in. He isolates KP, who does not have a BKB as mentioned. He went for that early. Sajiasha, he'll go down quickly. March also fingered and dealt with off the bat, and TA has not been contested. They buy back the Spirit Breaker, immediately looking to counterplay this, but it's a 3-for-1. The team that gets the jump seems to be the team that wins every frickin' fight.
Yeah, and I think MVP feeling like they can protect the Gyrocopter with the defensive fissures charges, but without a BKB, if he gets hooked, that was the timing there. With a Blade Mail on Clockwork, you drop a cooldown and Rocket Barrage. Normally, until that Blade Mail comes up, the Clockwork takes too much damage and just dies really quickly to the Gyro. But with the Blade Mail, you bring the Gyro with you. So you trade that Clock for the Gyro in a team fight, you win the subsequent fight that follows. And now, CDEC are going to secure a Roche off of this.
So this is what they've been waiting for. Sure, they didn't get the tower, but with 3 heroes dead, there's really no option for MVP to move into the pit. They may even suspect this is happening, but no chance. They're rotating on mid right now with the Storm. He may go for a solo kill, but he's not really going to be able to do much else as far as this Roshan goes. Tower gets denied by the Clock. Won't end up jumping XC, and now the Aegis comes out on the Templar Assassin of Shiki. I imagine a Blink Dagger in the works for him as well. Let's see, what is he going to build next? 3,000 gold? Does he just rush a BKB here? What do you think the build is for our Templar Assassin? Oh, there's your Blink.
Blink's so good. The changes, I think it's definitely a core item. I guess maybe you go BKB before the Blink if you really want to have that magic immunity, but
just so nice to quickly assassinate a hero before they can do any damage in the fights.
Synergizes so well with the Clock. Like that last fight, if he can just Blink follow up the Clockwork, that Gyrocopter dies even faster. And especially with Gyrocopter, got to imagine is going a BKB as his next item pickup after how these fights are going down. That's where T having a Blink Dagger is going to be essential for killing the Gyrocopter if you want to hookshot initiate on him.
So what's your game plan here if you're MVP? Maybe slightly rattled by giving up the Roche, a less than ideal fight mid. They're not too far down when it comes to gold, but they are starting to slip a bit. How do you look to come back? Are you dodging fights? Are you trying to take 5v5 clashes still, despite the gold deficit? What's your game plan if you're MVP?
They're definitely strongest when they're grouped up. I mean, not just because of their hero, largely because of their hero line, but also just that's the MVP playstyle. The positioning needs to be more protective of the Gyrocopter, where he's not in a position where he's going to get hookshotted and brought down like the last fight. So they have to be very wary of where those hookshots are coming from, be proactive with vision, scouting, and I think continuing a 5-man is fine. Problem is they're just trading right now, but they're looking to just kind of 5-man trade where they can until they have the Gyro BKB, and then they can really look to force the issue and take fights where they maybe don't have the positioning advantage because they can make up for it with an item like a BKB.
Oh, Shiki, he's found a rather delicious stack of Ancients, and he wants to steal them. There's no Radiant Vision of this. This is a lot of gold going the wrong way. Does he continue to clean them up? No, he moves. They found QO. Fingers there. They initiate, stun him, and burst him. He can't Bloodstone denied. That ends the mega kill streak. For the first time in a long time, our Storm has gone down. And now they can finish the Ancients too. Shiki's right back at it. This has got to be close to like 1,000 gold swing or more with those Ancients now falling. Big turn of momentum for CDEC.
Yeah, that was just crisp play, and that's where CDEC turned things around against Vega.
And Gods, they're looking for more. They had a ward. They hook two. They're trapped in the cogs. I don't even think he can charge out of here with the battery assault constantly going. Track coming in. No, he barely gets it off. Good patience there from Mark. Lion did disable it. Looks like two will possibly have falling. Storm balling in, though. He respawned very quickly with the Bloodstone, it being early game and all, but not enough. The mech heals everyone up. He has a regen rune, but there's just nobody to kill. Everybody's getting tankier, and they're starting to run as more of a pack here for CDEC. Could have been a whole lot worse for MVP, but in the end, they do end up losing a couple regardless.
Yeah, that was just nice play there. CDEC's just mid-game decision-making has just been winning them games. They fall behind in the early game, and largely it's a playstyle team. They're versing these teams who very much prioritize going for kills, 5-manning a lot early, and then CDEC say, well, we're going to just wait for our lineup to really come online, and that's exactly what's happened here. They're just taking the right fights, finding the pickoffs, and just punishing slight mispositionings. Like you had the Storm in mid lane who gets caught out. They find the Ancients, then they find the two heroes at top lane.
There's a ward mid. Might be a solo jump here on the clock. Where does our Storm want to go? QO just desperately clawing for any sort of play, but with clock having a Blade Mail as well as a Ghost Scepter, that's not the solo kill you're looking for. Maybe even tries to cut the wave or something like that. No, doesn't seem to be the case as they backstab KP, and in goes Shigi with a freshly picked up BKB, but he gets fissure blocked away, then charge. That's going to use up pretty much all of the BKB. Aggressive also found, now the hook, isolating Febby. Great catch there by XC. That will end the Earthshaker and keep him out of the team fight, but the Death Ward's going pretty much. They need to focus him. They will. QO dies as well. CDEC just overrunning MVP, and they're forced back towards the base. They're going to lose a tier 2 potentially for this as the creeps push in. Febby actually made a narrow escape, but was kept away from the fight regardless. They're starting to find the openings, and Gods with double BKB, and now a Solar Crest coming out for the Bounty Hunter to keep these cores tankier. How do you actually kill either of those cores? It feels like they have to waste their BKBs if you're going to do it.
And really scary, the Lion has a blink now as well. This means the Storm is even less safe in these fights. He's got that worry that where if any Lion's anywhere nearby gets him with a Blink Hex, he's done for. So this game going to get very difficult for MVP. This is going to turn quickly into a just defend and turtle in our base. Defend the high ground. CDEC, this Aegis will expire, so I don't think CDEC will be able to get a lane of racks with the Aegis, but they're going to get complete map control. They're going to have all the farm they want. They can take the Radiant jungle, take their own jungle, farm all 3 lanes, and MVP, their map is going to quickly tighten up and shrink as to where they can actually go. And they're going to be forced whenever they move somewhere to just move as a unit of 5 and just not have the same efficiency that CDEC have with what they can farm.
XC is hunting. Oh, he tried to hook him mid-charge, but that's okay. Q's here for backup. Gets off the Hex, the follow-up stun coming through. Even a TA trap deployed to try and slow March down a bit further. He nether strikes his way out of this. No, he can't. He gets chain stunned by the battery stall and will end up falling. CDEC with another good grab. Now this could be a big item. Earthshaker does manage to collect his blink. Febby, I guess a very fortunate survival earlier, as he may not have had this had he died to the clockwork in the previous fight. Still though, with track on the map, with always the rockets flying out, it's pretty difficult as an Earthshaker not to be spotted, and then it's just a matter of popping your BKB or backing off to avoid that echo.
Yeah. I feel so much of CDEC's strong mid-game has just come from their vision advantage and not through warding per se. I mean, they've got great vision through their wards, but they've got scouting skills. They've got TA traps, they've got Bounty Hunter with just the constant shadow walk around the map, they've got Rocket Flare. And MVP just haven't had that same luxury of being able to scout and see so much of the map. They're covering everything in sentries, but it's all about defensive vision for them. With CDEC, they're just so aggressive with what they can see on the map to find those pickoffs.
It seems like they want to go now, Gods. Viper picking up a late drums around 27 minutes. Everybody just rotating on the mid lane. They've got 5 heroes in deep march. He tries to charge, then realizes his folly. Will back off. There's the fissure. 3 hero cooldown coming through. Is that going to be enough, though? The big ball in from QO. Tries to finish off QO. Will finish off Q and gets the kill. XC driven back by the Death Ward. Very nicely fought here so far for MVP. They still have Echo. CDEC got to be careful about diving much farther. There's the fissure. Only connects on 1. Spirit Breaker charging away to the north. Get me the hell away. Beam me up, Scotty.
He's split pushing top lane.
And he will continue. Garter gets clobbered by Febby. And meanwhile, the Spirit Breaker just continue to be out of the fight. They will lose him. The Storm as well as the Earthshaker falling here in the end. March does TP home in the end. But they hold for now. They bring down 3. They give up 2. And they hold the high ground. Great defense there by MVP. And I think CDEC just got a little over-eager with that push.
Absolutely. And I think the last few fights have just gone so well and been so one-sided. They're like, oh, we can kind of play these aggressive style of pushes. Yeah, we may be running into a cooldown, but it's going to be okay. But the blink on the Earthshaker as well as the BKB on Gyrocopter were 2 items they hadn't actually fought into yet. And
it was
CDEC
such a great opening, too.
Yeah.
3 hero fissure, cooldown hits everyone. They do pop their BKBs at that point, but then they've committed their BKBs just for a fissure and cooldown, which are, the fissure will cool down as the fight progresses, and the cooldown is a fairly low cooldown spell in its own right. We do see a jump bottom lane, March getting picked off on the Storms, or on the Spirit Breaker rather, as Q initiates with his own blink. And this is the danger. When you fall behind in vision, you go off on your own, you're going to get punished by this mobile CDEC lineup. They hook in, though, isolating the Earthshaker. Hope he kept out of another team fight. QO tries to go in. He gets instantly stunned. Looks like he may fall to Shiki. He will. Those side blades doing work. KP moving forward, but he can't get eyes on Garter. He's going to go instead for the Lion, but gets juked. Now he decides he wants to run a little bit. The cat's not going to bounce at all. They might be able to stun KP. They will. They keep him from going back home. It's 4 dead. It may well be 5. This gyrocopter kited day and night, and they'll get a little bit of sweet track gold on top of it. 3 heroes pounce. CDEC thoroughly outplaying MVP, and it's all about the vision. They have the lane ward bottom, so they're able to hook their Earthshaker to start the fight. Tracks are coming out throughout the engagement. There's just no element of surprise here for MVP.
It's game of vision. Not only did they keep Earthshaker out of the fight, but he just gets solo kill. Clockwork, job done. You've killed an Earthshaker. That's done achieved so much, because I think MVP were trying to catch him by surprise, going for kind of a 4v5 engagement after losing their Spirit Break, having him picked off, because they know he's going to respawn in about 20 seconds. So if the fight goes a long time, he'll make it there towards the end for maybe some cleanup, but CDEC just saw everything coming their way with that vision.
Oh, Storm balling in. He does get hexed, though. No. QO trying to stall this push is going to die another time. No Bloodstone Deny available. Got cogged back anyway. Wouldn't have mattered. And he's out of the game for 50 seconds, Scotch. That's at least 1 lane of racks. No. Oh, there is an Echo Slam soon. Febi's just about got it. But is it going to be enough, though?
It's level 1, and CDEC
it's really not.
They're going to be split up. They're not going to position for a big Echo. Well, presumably they're not. They know it's available. They know it's coming their way, so...
And they've got BKBs here on the cores ready to roll. Aggressives has down. Shiki's going to move in. They throw the Solar Crest on him, and they just don't have the physical damage to bring him down, and they can't rely on magic, as he's always got the BKB in his pocket. He'll try to take this tower down as well, soaking up a lot of the incoming damage. Febi waits. He fissures to slow the push a little bit, but once this track starts coming out, very difficult to initiate. Garter looking for angles to find those. Shiki will blink out, and perhaps they retreat. The Storm about to respawn. They've already gotten a lane of Rex. No reason to overcommit.
And Roche is respawning soon, so they know the max respawn is about like a minute away, so it's sometime in the next 60 seconds. They've got complete map control. They've got traps all over the map. They've got great vision near the top lane, the bottom lane. They're going to be looking to secure this Roshan, and they can do so with ease. All MVP could maybe look to do is group up for a 5-man hopeful smoke towards Roche, but that becomes obvious. If CDEC have the lanes pushed out and no one's defending these lanes or showing on the map, you're expecting that 5-man smoke get your way, so you can just position in preparation for what's coming your way. But I still feel MVP have to go for it. And yeah, they're going to go for this kind of desperation smoke.
It's going to be obvious soon. The lanes are pushing against them in at least 2 of the 3 lanes, and creeps are deep. So CDEC for now back off a little bit. They haven't fully realized what's going on, as Clockwork is rather deep in enemy territory, but you can see he's kind of hiding in the tree line. So it seems even XC knows. Do they try to take the Roche? Now that's the real question. It has just respawned. They don't have a Desolator. They don't really have any minus armor.
They have to kill the TA trap, and as soon as you kill the TA trap, you reveal where you are. This is, I mean, it's a catch-22. They're waiting for CDEC to come take Roche, and they want to take a fight.
But they're waiting in an awkward position. Clockwork could cause everybody, and they think better of it. Now they want to back, but they've been scouted out a little bit here. Do they fully retreat?
There's just no play there for MVP. Once you're there, you're hoping the smoke finds a fight. You can't go for Roshan because the trap's scouting you. You can't, and you can't even really do much else. You can't go any deeper because you're just running in blind, and you're running from low ground to high ground, and that's where CDEC will see you coming and take that high ground advantage. And then as soon as you show on the map, CDEC say, okay, we'll take Roche. CDEC don't have to go for Roshan the second it respawns. They just go for Roshan once it's safe to go for Roshan.
And it sure looks a bit safer now. They've got the gem up on the line, so he can continue to maintain this vision advantage as much as possible. Aggressive down in the river, just begging them to go on him. He's not the hero you want to jump first, even if you end up getting the kill. And MVP, give up a freebie. Do they look to contest anyway? Shiki moving in. By the way, don't think we mentioned it, although it has been shown. He's got a completed Daedalus on his Templar Assassin. Just all kinds of damage now available for him. And there was a charge towards mid. In pursuit was Viper, but no way to cancel that one. So March will just continue heading towards top. Here comes Shiki. He's running in versus 4, and he baits out a call down. It's time to go down mid. There's the call from your Viper. CDEC are going to push this.
Yeah, short cooldown on that, 40 seconds, but that's still going to be a small little window where there's no cooldown when they first breach the high ground.
At least chip away, get a couple of Deso auto attacks on the tower, clear the creep wave out instantly. Here we go.
Yeah, March's top lane, he's not even there for this. He may look to TP back and sell some items to buy a BKB. He's only 500 gold away. Yeah, he's going to sell his wand and stick, just have a BKB.
That's a necessary purchase at this point, but it may be too late anyways. They've already lost the range rack. Clockwork has an egg, so he can just jump in all day and night with the hook shots. He's being patient here, though. No reason for XC to go in until MVP give him one. They're going to forfeit the mid lane of Rex before they even consider a jump, and now they still don't go in. They drop a homing missile onto Aggressive, who can BKB this if he's actually worried, but he's not. He'll just soak up the damage. MVP now down to just one lane of racks. CDEC once again drop behind in the laning stage and then still find a way to just turn the game right on its head. They were never really that far behind anyway. And all of a sudden, they're looking for megas here. They do isolate Cheeky with a very nice fissure, but is that going to be enough? Call down comes through as well. They get X on 4. This is the perfect fight if MVP are going to ever find one. They commit deep onto XZ. They may bring him down. Cheeky's already used his BKB, but look at the damage on Q. Almost finishes him off instantly. Can't quite do it. Aggressive isolated. Just an amazing hold here by MVP. They'll pop the Aegis. They bring down 3 more. They might even get the TA again. Now she will retreat to the right. MVP. If they just weren't so damn far behind, gods.
Yeah, that's the worry. Like you win a fight like that, and perfect execution, the dream call down, everything went perfectly. But can you really come back down 4 Raxes? And you can hope to maybe farm for the late game.
The bounty hunter's got a hex.
Yeah, everyone on CDEC is filthy rich. Hex on bounty hunter. Your line's not only. I guess he lost his gem now, but he had a glimmer cape on top of the blink dagger. The items just aren't there for MVP. I feel like CDEC definitely didn't play that as well as they could have if they're gonna lose a fight where they have got the Aegis, but even so, they're not gonna be worried.
It was so well played. The fissure forcing the TA out of position, catches her on her own. CDEC tried to reinforce. Maybe they should have just let the TA die once and then go, but it ends up just breaking up the fight. Then as they start to move in, they change their mind, they want to back out, but the cooldown's already hit 4 heroes, if not 5, once, and then the second blast comes through and really deals too much damage, and it just didn't feel like they got good use out of the BKBs there. Again, a great hold by MVP, but that's in their base when they know CDEC's coming and they get a great fissure to start it. If they don't have that, can they hold? That's going to be the real question that's paramount on MVP fans' minds here. As CDEC smokes, they're looking for some aggressive plays of their own. It's quickly broken. They do fissure XZ. Do they try to initiate on him? No. The jump's there onto Q. Now there's an Orchid available, but too much damage coming out from Cheeky. They hook in onto March, try to isolate him. The fissure drive fire along with the Echo Slam, not quite enough. They end up losing the Earthshaker here quickly. KP trapped in the cogs, looks to run, but with track there, a slightly disorganized fight from MVP, and it's a rout, and it's GG. CDEC again showing that they seem to be kings of the mid game, at least when it comes to this wildcard qualifier.
They threw everything they had on a Lion, and he survived. That was incredible. That was a great hookshot, canceling the Spirit Breaker BKB charge, and they just, I mean, at that point, you're in a desperate position. You're trying to go for that big play. You scout out the smoke ring. You had the high ground advantage. You say, okay, we saw them. And then they gave away their high ground advantage by chasing across river, and then it was essentially CDEC who had